What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So, I want to talk about non-black people's obsession and fascination with black bodies. And it's just something that sort of came to me a little while ago, right? Because I do notice low key there is sort of like a fascination and perhaps to an extent even an obsession with black bodies and just black people to an extent. Primarily, I think it's led by white people, and I think other groups of people follow suit to an extent. Um, but I do notice that there's so much fascination and obsession with black bodies, but not really much concern about black bodies, as far as like the safety and well-being of the black people with those black bodies, right? And I just kind of want to go through sort of like a list of things that folks are kind of obsessed with, non-black folks, and honestly some black folks are obsessed with when it comes to black bodies, right? You know, and and just to put it out there, black bodies are, very beautiful. Black bodies are, you know, I don't want to say magic, I don't want to say magic. I'll say black bodies are like, you know, generally speaking, can be very ethereal, you know. It's almost like, wow, you know. So I think, the creator, God, the Lord, definitely um, blessed black people in that aspect, right? But first thing on my list is the obsession with black ass, all right? You notice that there is, for some reason. Now, some folks don't probably want to admit it. Some folks want the black ass on like non-black bodies, non-black female bodies. But nevertheless, there is obsession. There is an obsession with it. And, of course, historically speaking, we can cite, the Hottentot Venus, Sarah Barnum, I think that's her name, in that whole situation, right? Yeah, but something to note, right? And also, again, you can note this in like adult films that are interracial and as well, same race too, of course. Um, Definitely an obsession with black ass. Like the fatter and blacker and stackered it is, the better. All right. Uh, Next on the list, BBC, big black cock. There is an obsession with that. Um, and, this is more so on, the adult side of things. While the ass part can be adult, but it also can be kind of like mainstream too. Um, but when it comes to the whole BBC obsession, definitely more so on the adult side of the spectrum, right? On the triple X side of the spectrum, right? Like there's like a whole genre of adult films dedicated to it. Right? There is like a search phrase dedicated to it, right? You know, sometimes when they're advertising these movies, right, adult film movies, it's not just enough to have a big cock or dick or whatever you're saying, all right. Like sometimes like they have to throw in black with it, right? They have to throw in the black part with it. Hmm. Wonder why that is, right? Like it's like it can't be. It's not just enough for it to be big. It has to be big and black too. Like interesting. Yeah. Next on the list, hair texture. I think there is a fascination and obsession with black hair texture. And it can be a positive fascination, obsession, or a negative fascination or obsession, especially when it comes to the women, the black women. It's like they're sometimes, I don't know, folks seem to be really obsessed with black women's hair for some reason, negatively and even sometimes positively, though. um, I can definitely understand the positive fascination because black women, you know, who can put on a better hair show than black women, right? Honestly, give me one group of women on this planet who can put on a better hair show than black women. I just let me know, all right? Like, let me know. Um, but yeah, like black women having so many different hairstyles and hair expressions and things like that, and different hair colors, all that good stuff, right? And even for black men, as far as men are concerned, like what group of men can, you know, give you what black men can give you in terms of like, hair expression. Like, you know, like even with no hair, black men are still, killing it and doing the damn thing, right? Because honestly, to an extent, it's like, what group of men, you know, as a collective, by and large, are going to give you like a better bald look than black men, right? And for the black women, even can give you the best bald look too for like women, right? Like black women are giving you like the braids, the cornrows, the naturals, the weaves, the wigs, the perm straight hair, the dreads, the bald look, right? And then black men, of course, they're giving you the bald look, the low fade, the dark Caesar, um, the dreads, cornrows, uh, what else? Um, Afros too, you know, um, as well. Like black hair can be very regal, very kingly or queenly, but very regal though, right? Um, There's something about it that can be very, I'll say, ethereal. I won't say magical. I'll say, very ethereal, something that's like really captivating about it, provided it's well maintained. You can't be coming out here with unmaintained hair, with lint all in your hair and acting like you're going to, like folks and should be staring at you and you're deserving of, admiration and captivation and shit. Um, but yeah, and as well, perhaps even folks, even subscribe, well, putting like saying that textured hair has a certain like magical quality to it or something like that, or some sort of a spiritual aspect or quality to it, perhaps. Um, but yeah, something to be aware of and to be cognizant of. Right. Um, let's see. Next on this list is medical research. Unfortunately, black people were used in medical research during pretty much during the time of slavery. Like a lot of the medical advances and whatnot, a lot of them probably came from black people being experimented on, right? And even still, like the whole Tuskegee syphilis experiment, even and that took place within our lifetime, more or less, like within the 20th century, right? We're not too far removed from that, right? But yeah, medical research. That's why I be thinking, like, white folks, we were under their foot for centuries. So I'm pretty sure they know pretty much all there is to know about us, more or less, or more than enough about us, right? Be real. Think about it. All right. Another thing, sometimes people rob black people's graves, specifically black people's graves. I think and this happened. This came about, or this came to the mainstream at least, probably during Hurricane Katrina, right? And people robbing black people's remains from their graves, you know, which is kind of creepy actually. It's like what are you planning to do with that exactly? Like you want a black person's like skull or some bones of some sort for what? You know? Um, but yeah, as well, very disrespectful too to like the deceased and the family of the deceased, right? Um, Another thing, folks, especially white people, dressing up in blackface. I'm like, and these people be some of the most like racist folks too doing this, which is very strange that you don't like something, but you're dressing up as that something. And some people are saying, well, they're doing it to mock this group of people, which that is true. Usually I think that's a part of it. Although I think another part of it is like some weird fascination or even obsession with like black people and black bodies, and even wanting to low key experience life in a black body to an extent. They're doing it under the guise of a Halloween costume because that's the only time they can kind of get away with it. You can't, I mean, if they were just like, if it wasn't Halloween, it would really just be obvious at that point, right? But yeah, I always found that to be a bit weird that, these racist white folks who claim not to like black people so much and to hate black people so much, you're dressing up as black people. And not just even just a black character, but you're making like that going the extra mile to like paint your skin or to darken your skin. That's a little strange because honestly, let's say if you're a white person and you do like a black character, right? You just say like, this is my favorite character in this movie, television show, what have you, right? Okay, you can dress up as that black character, right? But you don't have to paint your skin like brown or black. You can just dress up as the black character, right? Just as there's black kids who dress up as like white superheroes. They don't paint their skin white. They just dress up as the superheroes, right? Like Superman, you know, or Batman. You know, it's again, it's something a little weird about that to me. Also think about it. There are black people who don't like white people, but I usually, rarely, if ever see them dressing up as white people, right? Think about that, right? Again, it's just really just a lot to take in. um, Another thing is, okay, this is a bit of a throwback. This is a throwback to lynchings, okay? When black bodies were lynched, um, oftentimes the spectators of the lynchings wanted souvenirs, okay? And oftentimes they would take, a piece of the black body as a souvenir, like a finger or a toe, and had these, pass these off as like good luck charms. And I'm not trying to be shady, definitely not, but how is this a good luck charm if this black man or black woman or child got lynched? How is this a good luck charm? Same thing with like a rabbit's foot. Obviously, it wasn't lucky enough because the rabbit got, right? But seriously though, but that's just, you know, them perhaps using that as a reason to have a piece of a black body. Again, creepy. Same thing with the grave robbing situation. Creepy. I don't know where that comes from. You know. But you notice there's so much obsession and fascination, but so little concern for the black body. Why is that? Like, and I think that's just because this ultimately revolves around a fetish, right? This revolves around a fetish, and fetishes are dehumanizing, right? Fetishes dehumanize people, and I know some people will, if they had a choice between being fetishized or stigmatized, they would probably choose being fetishized because it does come off as if, you know, people are liking you and are generally concerned about you and all that good stuff. But when you go deeper into it, that's not the entire story, and that's not completely so. And, I kind of forgot to mention this in the list too, but I can, put skin tone on the list too. There, um, a fascination perhaps with black skin tone, especially when it comes to like aging, right? And um, especially if it's like a darker skin tone, being able to conceal blemishes, right? Um, you know, and of course, I do think that melanin, dark melanin, as well just melanin in general, of course, but especially like dark skin and darker skin melanin, right, is very beautiful, captivating and ethereal. Me personally, I do. So I wouldn't necessarily knock another group of people or another person for thinking the same thing, but sometimes I think it's not coming off from that point of view. It's more so coming off from like a weird fetishy point of view or a fetish like aspect of it for some reason. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain it, but I think it's not coming off from an admiration point of view entirely, but it can have an admiration aspect to it, right? And having all this in mind, is it a bad thing for non-black people to like things about black people's bodies? No. you know Is it a crime for them to be sexually attracted to things about black people's bodies? No, I don't think so. Um, I mean, black people do come with these, you know, things, come with these attributes, more or less, generally speaking, of course. Um, so, of course, if you were a black woman with a fat ass, you would want the guy that you're with to like the fat ass, right? But that black woman probably wouldn't want that guy to only be with her because of that, though. That's the thing, right? Is it just the fat ass, or is there more to it than that, right? Um, you know. And as well, you know, as I mentioned before, people, it's not a crime to like these aspects of black people, but how does it go when black people are needing are wanting, some support. When black people are in, tight situations, when black people are being mistreated, black people are being discriminated against, when black people are being oppressed. How do you react to that? Right? Is it Do you have concern for those black bodies, the people, the black people with those black bodies? And I think that is something that really kind of needs to be taken into account too, right? And I know when it comes to like men, the dynamics between men and women are different, you know But nevertheless, I think both black men and black women, um, you know, need to be aware of this, right? And also, to an extent, it's like, you know, are some of these people even worthy or even deserving of being with a black body? You know, experiencing the pleasures of black bodies. Honestly, you know, I know Cynthia G says, like, you know, if black people went on like sexual strike, they probably could get further. And I kind of think that may be some truth to that. If every black person just said, you know, no, we're not having sex with anyone but black people. That's it. That's all. How do you think? And you know, it was known. How do you think people will react to that? You know, across the board, you think they would be like whatever, or like on the surface they would be like whatever, but then behind closed doors, you know, they were like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? You know. But long story short, you know, black bodies are freaking amazing. You know, are very captivating, very ethereal. All right, like wow. You know, I'm black, and sometimes, you know, black bodies be having me like, whoa, like, like god damn. Like if it ain't black, it ain't stacked. God damn it. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out here for you guys and see what you guys think about that. You know, let me know in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.